I want to say welcome Governor Maura Healey, Lieutenant Governor Healey-Driscoll, Secretary of Housing, Mr. Edward Augustus, John Lopez, and Joanna Company, LLC. It's my great pleasure to welcome to the City of Lawrence. Today is another opportunity for demonstrators when everybody works together for one challenge, for one issue, for move the community forward. Everything is possible. Today, I want to say thank you for being here. Leader State Fran Moran, Senator Pavel Payano, and State Rep Francisco Paulino. Thank you for your continued support, City of Lawrence. Thank you, Merrimar Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, President, the new President, Michael. And I want to say thank you, Mr. Bevilacqua, for your service for many years. I want to say thank you, every organization in this Lawrence represent the advance to the City of Lawrence. Today is a great demonstration to when the state and federal and local government work together, everything is possible. That's the reason. In the last events, I explained, Mr. Secretary, I think you need looking for apartment in Lawrence because you need to attend the many events in the City of Lawrence, and that's the beginning. Lawrence moves forward and not stop, but Lawrence moves in the right direction because the leadership have the great and clear vision about City of Lawrence community. And that's the reason I want to say thank you, Governor Healey. And I want to say again, thank you for being here. Welcome, Governor, to the City of Lawrence.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. It is always great to be in the great City of Lawrence, and we see a lot of familiar faces. Hi to everybody. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. It's a busy time of year for everybody, I know, but you know, to all of our social service workers, our police, our teachers, our housing champions and advocates, our business leaders here, thanks for doing all you do, because this is how we make community. And community by community, we make Massachusetts great. So thank you. And it's a treat to be here today with our great Lieutenant Governor, Kim Driscoll, who has been a champion for Massachusetts communities. Our secretary, the first ever Secretary of Housing and Livable Communities, Ed Augustus. Ed's here with his team, which includes our fabulous Undersecretary, Kate Racer. Thank you, guys. They are out all over the state, looking at properties, figuring out where we can help and build more housing around the state. And I just want to thank our team from HLC. Mayor DePena, members of the City Council, the City of Lawrence workforce here, thank you for all that you do, for your partnership. Thank you to our legislative partners, including Senator Pavel Payano, Representative Frank Moran, Representative Paulino. Really appreciate all the partnership and what we've been able to do together in what has been a very productive session. To our local leaders, including Salem Mayor Dominic Pangalo, thank you for joining us. And thank you for joining us as well. Our new member of Team Massachusetts, our great CEO of Mass Development, Navjeet Ball, is here with us today, as well as Julianne Thurlow of the Reading Cooperative Bank. And I mention that because we've got a lot of community banks and local institutions who are great partners helping fund a lot of these efforts. Members of our Latino Empowerment Council, something that the LG and I stood up when we got elected. Latino Empowerment Council, it's amazing, chaired by Gladys Vega and Josiane Martinez, who is here today, along with council members Grace Corporan and Damaris Frias Batista. Thank you so much for the work you do. Melinda Maldonado, a family advocate from the Lawrence Methuen Community Coalition, and all housing and community advocates who are joining us here this morning. Joe Bevilacqua, Michael Bevilacqua of the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce, and the developer of this particular project, Johan Lopez. Johan Lopez and his wife, Valky. Thank you so much. So we just had an awesome tour of this development. It is incredible. I know that just up until this, for years, this place had been just sitting there, vacant, and not producing any tax income for the city, not doing anything productive. But it's the vision, it's the partnership that we celebrate today, helped in part by our tax package, which we were happy to sign into law, that provides additional tax credits to housing developers. We see what's possible, and it's awesome. There are beautiful units upstairs. I know they're already going quickly, which is great. And downstairs, we've got this amazing food hall supporting local entrepreneurs and local small businesses. So it's just exactly what we want to see. And also, these are modern units in a historic city. We're old, Massachusetts. We're going to celebrate 250 years next year. But there's a lot of old property, right, that can be made into something new and still, you know, pay tribute to our roots. And there are tremendous roots here in the great city of Lawrence. So really psyched to be able to show this off. This space today represents 24 new homes. And again, it's made possible in part through the state's Housing Development Incentive Program. This is HDIP. And it's so special. You know, when we proposed tax cuts at the start of our administration, one thing we wanted to do was provide more tax credits to developers so that they could go out and build more housing, because we need housing around the state. And I want to say, I learned from our secretary, in doing that, in our first year alone, we've gone from 200 units a year to 1,200 units in just 1 year. And that's what we're celebrating today when we recognize the HDIP program awardees. Back in July, we were awarded, thank you, legislature, $27 million, which is awesome. And today, we are announcing another $27 million that's going to produce hundreds more homes around the state. We've got homes coming online in Lawrence, Haverhill, Salem, Fitchburg, New Bedford, Taunton, Worcester, and in Hyannis on Cape Cod. We're funding more than 1,250 new homes through the HDIP credit this year alone, a new record for the program. It blew through the records, right? 6 times exponential growth in just 1 year. And that's what great policy and great legislation, you know, means. And we can make it happen, and we can make it happen quickly. So I want to thank everyone who worked in the legislature to help us get that tax cut package done. It was Massachusetts' first tax cut in 20 years. I said when we started, we wanted to make Massachusetts more affordable, more competitive, more equitable. And we did that. Tax cuts that give developers what they need to build housing, something that's desperately needed in the state to lower rents and drive down costs. We also have the most generous child and dependent tax credit in the country. So this year alone, families, for each kid you have, you're going to be receiving an extra $300. Next year, that goes to $400. And I know that that goes a long ways to buying clothes and groceries and paying for sports teams and so much more. So really proud of that. And know that we're not going to stop. We're going to continue to go ahead, all out on housing, all out on implementation of the new economic development bill that we also got signed. It's going to be awesome. Comprehensive veterans legislation through our HERO Act, and this unprecedented Affordable Homes Act, $5 billion bond bill. HDIP is part of it. Accessory dwelling units are part of it. So much good stuff that is happening in just a short amount of time. This takes partners. I'm so grateful to everyone in the room for your partnership. This is a great day for Team Massachusetts. And speaking of Team Massachusetts, I want to bring up my great teammate who I have the privilege to work with every day, our great Lieutenant Governor, Kim Driscoll. I love it
when the governor's fired up, right? Like, oh. It is great to be here today as we celebrate the Housing Development Incentive Program. Think about it. 1,256 new units across 15 gateway cities, from Lawrence to New Bedford, from Pittsfield to Salem, lots of places in between. Those are new units being created for families, for workers, for people who want to live in the community they grew up in or where they work. And but for programs like this, these new buildings and these new units don't get created. Thank you, Mayor DePena, for welcoming us here. Thank you to the governor for firing us up this morning. And thank you to our legislative partners. Like, we can't make these programs work without all of these resources coming together. But most assuredly, thanks for the team who built this building that we're in. Like, a wonderful partnership between people who grew up here, saw an opportunity, want to invest and give back, and look at this incredible space we're in. Not only providing new units for members of the community to live in, this incredible space for entrepreneurs to make delicious empanadas, which we just enjoyed, among other things. When you invest in projects like this, you're investing in the vibrancy of a gateway city. And as the former mayor of a gateway city for a number of years, it takes this type of partnership. It's not just about the housing. It's not just about having new spaces. Our gateway cities deserve new, vibrant spaces. It's the investments that are going to be made along this block. It's going to be the businesses that contribute to that thriving, vibrant downtown that we all want. It's the services that you rely on if you live someplace and want to be able to walk down and get a cup of coffee or any other sort of service that you need. That's the partnership that gets created by housing development incentive programs. People willing to work hard, invest, build this site. Local entrepreneur built this building as well. It's jobs, it's investment, it's partnership that leads to vibrant cities. And we know when we have vibrant communities across our Commonwealth, we've got a fast-growing, more enriched state. And so it's a real pleasure to celebrate here in Lawrence, but we're celebrating across 15 gateway cities, 1,256 new units, new houses for people to live in that wouldn't have existed but for this program. And we talk a lot about supply and incentivizing the supply of housing. And why do we do that? Because we know when we have more housing being built, it makes more housing affordable throughout the Commonwealth. One of our biggest challenges is we have more demand than we have supply, and that's what's raising prices every single day. So we're going to do everything we can to ensure that we're working with communities, with investors, with nonprofits to build the type of housing that communities need and can rely on, and that's going to move Massachusetts forward. Now, there's one person that's really championing that effort for us, and we couldn't have a better leader serving up our Housing and Livable Communities cabinet than Ed Augustus, a former city manager, knows what it takes to pencil out deals. He's going to talk a little bit more about this program, so let's welcome him to the podium.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor, Governor Healey. I'm proud to be part of an administration that really understands the importance of partnering with communities. I'd also like, the governor did this, but I'd be remiss if I didn't give a special shout out to Kate Racer, our Undersecretary, and Steve Pantalone from her office, who are really the knowledge and expertise that Kate and her team have really make programs like this come alive. And so we're very fortunate to have all of them working on these projects. So thank you, Kate. For years, this program has been helping our gateway cities both create housing and redevelop downtowns and neighborhoods. And this year, because of the leadership of the governor and the lieutenant governor in partnership with the legislature, we are able to do so much more. That means more incredible transformations like what's happening right here at JAV in Lawrence. And I want to thank Johan and Joaquin Lopez for hosting us today. This development was part of the administration's first HDIP awards last July, and already you can see the progress. They've taken a blighted property and turned it into something that's truly special, that not only creates housing, but celebrates the city's rich history. And today, they're one of 12 round 2 awardees getting more HDIP to do more projects, more units of housing, more development in downtown Lawrence. Your efforts, your newest effort, Icono, is a new construction project here in Lawrence that will add another 60 units along with new commercial space downtown. Mr. Mayor, Congratulations to you and your team here in the city of Lawrence. As was mentioned, I'm a former Gateway City Manager. I know how vital these projects are, and I know how much work it takes to make them happen. I was just here last week for the grand opening of the Armand Michael Hyatt Apartments, and I can say Lawrence is getting it right. Governor Healey and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll have made housing one of the administration's top priorities. Through the landmark Affordable Homes Act, implementation of the MBTA Communities Act, the Commercial Conversions Initiative, and expanding tax credits like HDIP and LIHTC, we're reviving neighborhoods, building more housing of every kind. Half of the projects we're announcing today involve adaptive reuse of old mills and commercial spaces. Places like Ivor Mills in Fitchburg, this cluster of long vacant mill buildings from the 1800s has been vacant for decades, an eyesore from the city, for the city, a fading monument to the city's past. And now it will be transformed into a vibrant community with 96 apartments and commercial space. Or Open Square in Holyoke, where 84 apartments are being created in an old mill that is now the country's largest net zero energy mixed-use development. Or in New Bedford, Elmwater Landing will convert an empty 4-story building into 18 apartments downtown. And Taunton, the city's first HDIP project, will use a former factory site to create 12 apartments and 16 townhomes in the city. These projects are transformative. They not only create housing, but they help restore pride in gateway cities. They create the type of communities where people aspire to live. Together, we're strengthening our communities, making Massachusetts more affordable, equitable, and building a brighter future for all of us. Thank you. And now it's my honor to introduce our hosts for today, Johan and Joaquin Lopez.
Thank you, everyone. I know we're running a little late, so we'll keep it brief. What a great day for 2 immigrant kids from Lawrence. I'm Valkyria Mansueta with Joe Moore Companies. As 2 immigrant kids, we couldn't be more proud of this moment. We're honored and humbled to have with us Governor Maura Healey, Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll, and Mr. Ed Augustus, our Secretary of Housing and Livable Communities. This is a very special day. Thank you to the Governor's Office for putting this together. This event, I know it takes a lot of energy to get everyone together under one space during such a busy time of the year. We would like to recognize and thank our local officials who are here with us, the mayor, Mr. Mayor, elected officials, Frank Moran, Pavel, thank you for all of your support over the years. And a very special thank to our friends and families who have always been cheering us on the sidelines. And also to the crew and the staff that has made this day possible here for us. Thank you. And to the recipients of the new awards, we recognize your efforts. We wish you a lot of luck in your new projects, and thank you for adding the much-needed housing to the Commonwealth.
Yeah, and a little bit of... So like the governor said earlier, you know, this was a underutilized property that was vacant for many, many years. If you know Lawrence, you know that this was a secondhand store. Then they closed down during the pandemic, and then it was never put in, activated again. And we took a chance on this building. We took a chance, and without knowing if we were going to get funded or not, if we're going to get a loan to do the construction, and, you know, through our great partners that we have, you know, Redding Cobb, who is the lender for this project. Thank you, Julie, and Jose, and the whole team. They're amazing. Actually, Mass Development was also part of the financing stack for this project. And then obviously, you know, HDIP. Without HDIP, we wouldn't, I think this wouldn't have been possible. We're super excited, like Joaquin said, and it's an honor to have all of you here tonight. And hopefully we can have you back here when we do the grand opening in about a month for the full hall. So enjoy the time, and we'll hand it over to Madeline Maldonado, who is also an advocate for housing, all type of housing. You know, we all know that housing is a crisis actually right now, right? Throughout the state, but, you know, especially in gateway cities, even, you know, here in Lawrence as well. And I know that Madeline is always an advocate and looking for a way to always, you know, help family get housing. So Eileen, the floor is yours.
Thank you. My name is Madeline Maldonado, and I work for Family Youth Initiative for the Patch Program, and I'm a family advocate. I'm here today being the voice for many of my families that I help throughout Lawrence, Haverhill, Lowell, because they come from different communities. And the issue that my families are having at this moment is housing. And seeing these beautiful apartments today brings me joy, happiness to see that we are doing apartments, that we are trying to develop new places so our families that live in Lawrence could have the opportunity to stay here in Lawrence where they grew up. And as a family advocate, seeing the struggles that a lot of my families are having, whether it is that they cannot apply for Section 8, they don't qualify for programs because they don't been here like for many years, they come from different countries, and are they illegal? So seeing that Lawrence is trying so hard and our mayor is working so hard so we could have new apartments here in Lawrence makes my job a little bit easier when my families come to me and tell me that they're looking for a place to live, that they need a place to call home for their families. And seeing these apartments today brought me lots of joy, happiness, and I am very proud to be living in Lawrence. I've been here since 1981, and I would love to stay here in this community and keep helping my community, that we have more apartments. Thank you. I'm sorry. I would like to invite back to the podium our governor, Mayor Healey.
Thank you so much. All right. Great, we're happy to take on topic questions, but I just want to, this is a Lawrence story. This is a Lawrence story. I mean, we were upstairs getting a tour of the property, and where's Mr. Serrano and his daughter? Somewhere. Okay. The builder's here. I just want to, well, before you clap, let me tell you why. So we were just upstairs on the second floor, and we were looking out the window, the LG and I were, and Ed, and we were looking across at the Jelly Bean factory. And that's where Mr. Serrano and his wife met. They immigrated to Lawrence from El Salvador. He goes to work in the Jelly Bean factory. How many years later? We won't say how many years later. He's building the building across from the Jelly Bean factory. His daughters come home to help. She's a sophomore at Dartmouth College. That's a Lawrence story. That's a Lawrence story. And there's so many things that we love about Lawrence. We love its grittiness. We love its history. We love all the things that happened along the great Merrimack River. And, I just am reminded of that and the power of this community and what's possible. And that's why our administration is leaning into economic opportunity, right? That's why we fund housing, why we passed an economic development bill that's going to lean into entrepreneurs and small businesses and micro businesses. It's why we're funding childcare, because we want parents to be able to go to work and fulfill their career dreams, right? And also make sure their little ones are taken care of. It's why we've promised universal pre-K starting in our gateway cities. So today, and free community college, cost-free community college, which gets a lot of people on pathways to great careers, economic mobility, economic opportunity. That's what this community has always been about. That's what our team is about. That's what Team Massachusetts makes possible. So thanks for everybody coming out today. LG just said to me, we got 15 places we got to go see, because all these other awards, we're so excited to see what's happening and happening so quickly. Any questions on topic?
Governor, are there any opportunities for purchase of any of these units? Are they only apartments, or are they maybe converted to condos?
Johan, come on. They're all rental. They're all.
Yeah, so these are all rental. Market rate rental. We own the building across the street. We did a project 2 years ago. Same thing, same type of project. Hopefully later we'll do a condo project, but for now, these are all rental. Yeah.
I just say it depends on the project. Many of these are rentals. Sometimes there's a mix of rental and ownership opportunities. So.
And don't forget the other parts of the $5 billion bond bill, okay? First-time home buyers, community builders, the 1+ mortgage program, right? ADUs, anybody got a garage next to their house? You can turn that into a housing unit and put your mother-in-law there. It's gonna be great. Yeah.
Regarding the ADUs, right, it takes maybe like $60,000 to convert your garage and to put your mother-in-law there. Any incentive, any grants to help local Lawrence homeowners to start that project?
Great.
So we've been working with Mass Housing Partnership, one of the quasi-agencies that we work with. They've been convening banks and lenders to try to put together some products that would help property owners who want to convert a space into an ADU, some finance options that would help them do that. So yes, we are working on that.
Anything else? All right. Great. Thanks, everybody. I highly recommend the empanadas and the ceviches. Excellent on the way out.